Hey there, friends. It's Bill McDonald, the reading and writing doctor. Welcome to the ER emergency room for extended responses and editing revising. It's still my birthday, so before I get started, I wanted to thank everybody who took some time to write something kind on my wall, and even for those dozens of you who were nice enough to send me a little gift through Venmo or Cash App so that I could go enjoy the Astros game this evening after watching my son's performance. This video's focus is going to be on perhaps not why students were in zero land at the end of the year, but why, because they had no earthly what to do, how to do it, where to look to find the ECR prompt and essay. I want to say that this video is how to get the students who are in La La Land to at least zero land or one land. Now, before I show you the acronym that I came up with, I want to say that many of you have friends that are there for you no matter what you need, and vice versa. You're there for them. What I want to be is what many of you call your bestie. So the plural of bestie is besties, B.E.S.T.I.E.S. So 7 letters that are going to help your students kind of get an idea on how to assure that they know what to do and where to do it and not get the 1 million zeros that we experienced for a total of 2 million zeros because two people have to agree that in the areas of doc, development, organization, and conventions, the students did not do enough. Now, this first one is going to be the basic besties acronym, and then I'm going to show you what I said on my last video, the SUP, the seen and the unseen problem, purpose, prompt, and we're going to be using puzzle pieces in this video. So hopefully one or more of these ways will help you become besties with your students. They can become besties with each other to help each other figure out maybe which part of the prompt page they might not be addressing or referring to. And then on test day, they can be besties with the acronym besties. So let's take a look at it. If you are in our emergency room for extended responses and editing, revising, you've already received this as an email and I sent it to you as a hard copy to the address you provided because with that you get a hard copy of my mini binder, a class set of my full color advanced folders, and a class set of my graphic organizers, and they're all slightly different from last year's that I used because I felt like I wanted to make some improvements, and we're always trying to make things better. So let's try to keep this video reasonably short. So what I would like you to do, because many of you are not in the group yet, you haven't registered or signed up for it. Um, so what you can do is get a regular sheet of paper and maybe fold it, have it this way, what we call portrait picture, not landscape the long way, and fold it equally in half and then in half again and then in half. You'll get 8 equal parts. And on the top part, it'll be called the teacher and student friendly guide for understanding ECR prompts. That would be on the first of your 8 sections. And then going down, go ahead and place a B.E.S.T.I.E.S, B.E.S.T.I.E.S in the 7 remaining sections so that when I explain to you how to use this, you'll be able to kind of forward this information and some of the acronyms for besties that you feel are most important to them. And so there it is. Step 2, the teacher being besties with the student, but teaching the acronym student to student because it says teacher and student. But for step 1, it's Bill being besties with all of you. So let's take a look at the first one. A lot of you told me that your students had no earthly idea that they were even on a page that was an extended constructed response. So one of the first things that your students are going to look for is the little dots. The little dots, if you look at me in the corner, and there are going to be 9 of them, okay? On the prompt page, okay? Let me show that to you. So as soon as they see the little dots, the little bullets, they will see 9 of them. And if you go to Dollar Tree, you can see a little puzzle with pieces that you put together from 0 to 9. And so that would be step 1, is looking for the little dots called the bullets. Step 2, because one section here says to explain, and this is the third grade prompt for this year, but I covered it to kind of until we're more clear about whether it can be released or not. So I'm not letting you see the prompts or the topics, just the 911 structure. Instead of looking at the section called write, which is what they're going to do, the prompt and topic are in the explain. I have my hands out like wings section. They'll look for the section that says explain. And so I'm going to call that section 0, that if you don't even understand where to go to understand the topic or the prompt. So let me show that to you. They want to get inside your student's head. They're going to get a topic and they want an idea from your students. And even though it's not a question, one of the what I call 6+1 W's, who, what, when, where, why, which, how, are going to be somewhere in the statement. And I noticed that a lot of students, when they write their central idea, controlling idea, thesis, their claim, their opinion, even though this was an opinion, uh, they still asked your students to write their central idea. And I think it would have been better if they would have made sure that because it was an argumentative opinion purpose, I wish they would have written the word claim there, or opinion, or your argument. Okay. So the idea of these 9 bullets is that if you do all 9 of these things and you do this one here, the 10th thing is to make sure that all of these 9 things are in response to the topic. Okay. So there is section 0. And so when you see me flip it over there, section 0 does have that word explain there, topic, prompt, because that's where it's going to be. And notice that I have it in a section. So the next part of besties is, once you've found the page with the 9 bullets, you add an extra bullet called bullet 0 in the explain section. Bullets, explain. Then you're going to do what I did here and separate, break apart, separate, separate, break break apart, break apart. That's the S of besties. The topic, which is this one right here. Separate the topic, not the bottom, but the top, as in topic, whatever the prompt is asking you to do. How do you separate it? I, into, into, into what? Well, probably E, Z, easy, or E, there's my letter E, E, Z, sections. And the reason I'm saying that is because if some of your students are not at the sentence level, what I did here was I broke the prompt slash topic slash question without a question mark into meaningful chunks. And so what I've also done on the back of this puzzle, to show it to you very briefly, I put keywords from the topic onto each piece of the puzzle, uh, so that your students would understand that they have to break it apart. Explain was important, your opinion. And so my opinion is important. They want to know your kids' opinions about the selections that we're being asked about. They also need to know, it's important, 911, the idea part, the central idea, the controlling idea, the thesis, the claim, has to not just include the prompt. So if all your kids are doing is restating the prompt, but they don't actually tell the why part, that's going to end up getting them a 0 because it's not an extended, constructed repeating of the prompt. It's an extended, constructed response to the prompt. So you could use every single word here, but if you haven't actually clearly stated a central idea, why, whatever all of this was, when you broke it into pieces, then you're going to have a problem. Okay. Now, I did, as you can see here, this is all of the prompts for 3rd through 10th grade that are here. And I can't show that to you yet for logical reasons. So I want you to take a look at that. We have bullets, explain, separate, topic, into, easy or easier sections. And why do we do that? Because if your kids cannot understand the whole sentence, then let's take the sentence, what I call a smarty, and break it down into sections called details, dum-dums. Let's turn each detail into an important piece of the puzzle, like I did on this one. And what I'll be showing you by grade level is how to break apart each of the prompts from the past and from this past year into bite-sized chunks so that your students can remember to include each section. Because if all of it is part of the topic, including the who, what, when, where, why, which, and how, then your kids have to make sure that as they write their central idea statement, controlling idea statement, thesis statement, that everything ties together. The topic, the idea, the thesis has to include each section except for certain words. Like, for example, one of these words in here that is covered says or. When you're doing an opinion argumentative, one of these words on here in the back is going to say or. Well, you either have to do 4 or 5, do or do not do something. And so you had to pick one or the other, not both. Okay. So I want you to make your own little anchor chart with besties. And these are some important ones, but I'm going to show you in my next video the other reasons, the bullet by bullet on the actual scoring guide, and then something that TEA posted 8 years ago that also gets your students lots of zeros that happens to begin with one of these letters from besties. So because some kids are visual learners, let me go ahead and review with you. Bullets, so I can make it visual, verbal, auditory, and kinesthetic. So the B was those little dots. There were 9 of them. And when your students put one up there in the E of besties, explain, that's 10 dots. How to get a 10 by following the 9 bullets that are already written and the one your students make next to explain. Okay, so bullets B, explain E, separate separate, break apart, besties, the topic into E, Z, or E, Z, sections, because a sentence is going to have lots of details in it, and your students have to make sure that as they respond to that topic and have a central idea about that topic, well, that if it's a central idea, it's going to be about everything that was mentioned in the topic, not just one thing or two things or three things. So whenever the students responded, if they got zeros, it's possibly because their central idea had nothing to do with anything from the pieces of the puzzle. It only had to do with some of it, or perhaps just uh, one was there. But I will say that one of the reasons is if they didn't explain the who, what, when, where, why, or how, because I noticed every single prompt for the 2023 spring test had one of those in it. If that wasn't in there as part of their central idea, controlling idea thesis, claim slash opinion argument, then they weren't really writing a clear central idea, and it could have been one of the reasons why the kids got zeros. So besties, bullets, explain, separate, separate, break apart the topic into E, Z, made an E and a Z, or E, Z, E, sorry, E, Z, sections. And that makes you come up with a central idea about the topic. That's all I have for today. For those of you who received the B.E.S.T.I.E.S colorful acronym, save that. For those of you who didn't, you can make your own very easily, but go ahead and make sure you write small because I'm going to give you lots of reasons why kids got zeros in all of those different categories that's on the scoring guide, and then some that are not, but that the readers know to give zeros for specific reasons. Thank you guys, and God bless.